Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is election day. It is Tuesday, and yes, this is the real background right now. This is the S&P 500 pit here at the CBOE. I am back live in Chicago and very, very happy to be here. So, hello, everybody that is joining us. Really appreciate it. Gene, I think you were yesterday's winner, weren't you? On the wheel. Nicely done. We will get to that in a moment. Now, we had an extremely busy morning, an extremely active morning here at Prosper, in my room, and Mike's room, and Charlie's room. But I'll tell you what, surprisingly, back here, not so much. Yes, the market is now up. I'm looking up here live right now. S&Ps are up 63 points. What does that mean? Does that mean the market is favoring one side or the other? No, it really doesn't. And I'm going to go into that in a moment. So the S&Ps are up 63, the Dow is up over 300. However, when I look here to see S&P volume right now, it is the lowest I have seen in about a month. It is under 700,000 contracts right now. On a normal day, we see about a little over 1.5 million contracts or so. And when I look back here, and we can pan the floor here. So yes, this is real. You can see people moving around here. It's not just the background I've been using over the last few weeks or so while I've been away. Um, it's no, can everybody hear me? Yeah, the stream is. Sandip said the stream. Are we back? Are we good? Okay, I don't know what happened there, guys. Okay, phew, that scared me. That scared me. So anyway, there is not a lot going on here. So surprising, and I think what that is telling us is that the market, the market is expecting this thing to drag on. The market is not expecting a winner tonight, probably not tomorrow night. All right. Let's see what is happening here. We've got our election day special today. As soon as we get through some of the market updates right now, as I've mentioned to you guys in the rooms earlier today, we're going to do a rapid fire. I want to go through your positions. I want to go through stocks that you want to look at. But before we do that, let's talk about what is going on here. Small caps, IWM implied volatility is still sky high. This morning, huge out of the money SPY call buying. This morning, big at the money DIA put sale. DIA, that is the ETF for the Dow Jones. It's called the Diamonds. So that just like SPY is, roughly 1/10 of SPX. DIA is roughly, a tenth of the Dow. And then we're going to talk about how the VIX continues to remain elevated. So want you guys to look at this. This is what happened earlier this morning here. Okay. These are SPY calls. These are November 7th and November 15th expiration. There's something going on right now. November 7th and November 15th expiration. Earlier this morning, there was a huge what's called sweep. That means an order comes in, an electronic order comes in. So SPY was about 574.69 or so when this happened. And you can see huge. Give me a quick shout out here. The 8th. So we're going to try and power through this here, guys. Let's talk about the VIX. It says that our internet is fully connected. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here, but the VIX, and I'm going to show you this on a chart in a moment. The VIX, this is the longest stretch in 5 years, 78 days. Actually, today is day 79, above the 200-day moving average. Okay, above the 200-day moving average. Let's take a look at that chart right here. And here you can see it, guys. Here is that 79 now day streak that we can see. We can see it traded right down to the 200-day moving average here. This was on beginning of August. traded down again right here, but never broke the 200-day moving average. So is that going to break? I would expect as soon as we have some resolution to the election, tomorrow, Thursday, next week, whenever that is, I would expect the VIX to come down at that point. Okay, so we've gone through SPY, we've gone through DIA order flow, we've gone through the VIX. Now let's talk about how stocks have done on election day. And again, right now we're up 65 points in the S&Ps right now. Okay? This is dating back just about 100 years. Okay? However, the markets pretty much through Reagan, the markets were closed, so we kind of have to throw that out here. And you can see on election day, there has typically been a lot of optimism. Okay, on average, there has been a 1% gain in the S&P 500 on election day. Today, we are up what 1.1, 1.2%. So this is not unusual for election day what we're seeing today. If that, is that going to hold into the close? I don't know. You're good. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, but again, volume is very, very low today. Anything can happen. Okay, here is another one. A lot of people asking, okay, when is this going to be, decided here? Are we going to know tonight? Are we going to know tomorrow? Is it going to have to wait all the way till Saturday? So here, just going back since 2000. Okay, now obviously, if you guys remember that 2000 election between Bush and Gore with the hanging Chad down in Florida. Okay, and we've talked about this one before. Regardless of who wins, okay, the likelihood is the market is still going to go up. Okay, you can see the entire breakdown of every presidency going back to William McKinley here. Okay, and you can see regardless of who is in office, the market typically does well. Now, the times it has not done well has been either when one side has controlled everything, controlled both sides of Congress and the White House, okay, or the other time I believe was in 2000 with George Bush. Okay, but you can see it doesn't really matter who is in office. Okay, IWM is the one I didn't show here. So let me really briefly bring up IWM and what I'm seeing with implied vol. Remember, IWM, guys, that is the ETF for the Russell Index for the small caps. Okay. Look at this implied volatility. We touched on this yesterday, but this one remains really, really high, and it remains really high going through next week, which again tells me the market is set. The market is really set for no decision, probably by the end of this trading week here. Look at this. Whoop, I don't want that. Look at this implied vol here, guys. Okay, if we look at IWM here, it is the highest we could see here, except for what happened back in early August with Japan with the carry trade. It is the highest that we see since right here. And what was this big blip back here? This was back in, when was this actually? That's got to be 2023, March of 23. Okay. So IWM implied volatility is incredibly, incredibly expensive. And not just expensive for today. Let's break it down here and look, because we actually tried to do, those of you that are in my room today, we actually tried to do a strangle swap, or what's known as a double diagonal, okay, a calendar swap, selling next Monday's implied vol and then buying next Friday's implied vol. So we can see on here that implied vol going all the way out to this Friday at the money. Let's see, IWM is at 222. Okay, so implied vol is right around 50 or 51, which is incredibly expensive. If we go out to Monday, okay, get through the weekend, get that added extra couple days of theta decay. If we go to Monday, that 51 implied vol that we saw through the end of this week, okay, it drops. It drops to 38, 39. Okay. And then by the end of the week, next week, we actually drop even further to about 36 or 37. Now, 36, 37 is still very, very expensive in IWM. So again, what this is telling me is even though implied vol right now, before we move, I want to start bringing up some charts. Mike, are we good on? Okay. Don't know what is going on, huh? Okay. Guys, can everybody hear me again now? Sorry for, there we go. Word of the day vote. There we go. Sorry for the internet connection down here, guys. I am on the trading floor and it shows that we are full. So there we go. Now we're coming in. While you're doing that, guys, okay, while you're doing that, please, please, please give a shout out here. Tell me what stock you want me to look at because I want to do a rapid fire. I already got a few ahead of time, but give me rapid fire here, okay, so we can get to that after you all get your votes up in the room here. Absolutely next here. Okay, here is Eaton Corporation. Okay, Eaton Corporation to me is a very, very bullish chart. Let's expand this here. Okay, here's Eaton Corp. And what we can see historically here 200-day moving average, big pop. 200-day moving average, big pop. 200, 200. Okay, here we touched the 50 and we got a nice pop. Okay. Now, based on this, I'm not so sure I would buy it right here. Okay. However, if we did see a pullback, okay, if we did see a pullback, and I just shortened this time frame up to 6-month time frame now, you've got this support at the 200 down at 310 or so. I know that's a ways away from where we are right now, but given what we just saw there, that's what I would like. That's what I would wait for. I wouldn't buy into this rally necessarily. Maybe you don't wait all the way to that 310, but I like it a lot. Okay, Palantir. Okay, hopefully everybody that's tuning in, you knew we had two bullish positions in Palantir. In one room, we had a diagonal call spread. In a different room, we just had a vertical call spread. Okay. They blew the doors off of earnings. They blew the doors off of guidance. So what do you do with this stock right now? Well, it's trading at all-time highs, right? To me, this is now a wait and see. Okay, it is now a wait and see. It's another incredibly, incredibly bullish pattern, but on a pullback. Okay, so can it move higher from here? Typically, if you see a stock make a dramatic move on earnings, it'll follow through for a day or two. So probably over the next day or two, we see some follow through. Okay, but for a new entry point, my new entry point here would be the gap that was caused by earnings today. So that gap is where we closed yesterday, right around 41 and a half or so. Okay, next up, let's look at GDX, which I believe is a gold miners index, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and it's another proxy for the commodity space. It's another proxy for gold. Okay. Now, it doesn't have the direct relationship of GLD, the ETF, and I'll bring that up here in a moment. But this is another one, as you know, many of you know that I have said repeatedly on all of the networks. Do you buy into the gold rally? No. Do you buy on any pullback? Yes. Okay. GDX right now, it is sitting real pretty. Okay. 50-day support, 50-day support, 50-day support, 50-day support. There we are again right now. So would this be, in my opinion, my humble opinion, a place to enter? Absolutely. Absolutely. DJT. DJT, you can close your eyes and roll the dice. Okay? This is going to be a binary move today. There is no fundamental, there is no fundamental data for where this stock will be trading when the election is decided. Okay? The company has no revenue. The company does not make any money. It will be a binary move on the results of the election, and that is why implied volatility is so just off the charts. Actually, if we look at what the market is expecting, let's look this week and next week. Okay, so right now DJT is trading right around 39 or so. If we look at the 39 straddle, this thing's trading just over 20 bucks. So this is expecting a 50% move this week on the election. If we look next week, okay, at the same exact straddle, at the money straddle, we are now looking for next week. This thing actually explodes, beyond where we were. If he loses, okay, there's your warning. Okay, let's look at Reddit, another position that we had on last week that we killed it on that move higher. Okay, and here's that move higher. You can see that fortunately we had very bullish position on. Okay, you can see that big gap there. It's another stock just like Palantir, guys. It is in rarefied air. It is in no man's land. Are we frozen again? Okay. It is in no man's land. Do you buy into it? I would not. There's too much other activity going on. I would look for a gap fill from where it was before earnings last week. Okay, Micron. Micron. Micron's been a little bit of a laggard in the chip space lately. I mean, look at Micron here. This is not a real bullish chart here whatsoever. It is not a bullish chart. Do I want to short it here? No. No, I absolutely don't. This is a stock I look at, and they have earnings. They're still like a month out, a little bit of a month out. It is very likely this thing trades sideways until we get closer to earnings. Okay, there's nothing on the chart there that gives me any inclination, bullish or bearish, on a very short term basis, though. Very short term basis. There's a lot of consolidation here. This stock, Micron, typically does not stay in that tight of a channel for too long. So I would look at that, and the way that I would play that if you wanted to, get into something right now and not wait. Rodney, you mentioned something about rolling to leaps. I'm not sure what position that was. What position did you roll out to leaps? Tesla. Okay. Tesla is definitely not a proxy for the election. However, there is in my opinion, some premium. Okay, you rolled. Okay, let's discuss why you did that in a little bit, Rodney. Tell me what you were thinking behind that. But with Tesla, there is, in my opinion, a bit of a premium, okay, to the connection between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I'd be really careful of that one. Okay, I'd be really careful of any company where you're not evaluating it fundamentally or technically on its own merits, where there might be something else in the mix that you're evaluating it on. So I'd be really, really careful on that. Okay, NVIDIA. Hard not to be long NVIDIA. This is another one. It's like GLD. It's like some of the other ones that we talked about. You just have to buy it on a pullback. You just have to, until that trend breaks, you just have to buy it on a pullback. Would I buy it here right now? Probably not. If I miss the move to the upside, I miss the move. Would I buy it on a pullback? 100%. And what pullback would I be looking for? Probably something closer to that 50-day moving average right now. Okay. Kim. Kim wants to look at MSTR. I think, Kim, that's one of your favorites, isn't it? Um, so goes crypto, so goes MSTR. Difficult